I'm here with Coach Brian Barnes of Bishop Foley Catholic High School, and Coach, you're playing Friday. First of all, how surprised are you that you're even getting a season now, and how quickly did it come up on you?
I know. So all summer we were kind of hemming and hawing back and forth on like what's going to happen, and so it was hard to put, all of our effort emotionally into what we were doing, And so for the kids' sake, we were as professional as possible, and we were coaching them up all summer when we had camp and workouts and stuff like that. And so we were preparing like we were having a season, and then even the first week we weren't sure, and then we got the announcement that Friday that we were going to play in the spring. And so that kind of was a big hit to the gut, and we accepted it, and we were ready to move on and make the best of it. We were allowed 16 practices and helmets, so it was kind of like a spring practice type thing in the fall. So we were doing that for a while, and then we started hearing the rumors that no, we still might play, and yeah, we got the news, and then we tried to get ready to go. We've tried to get as ready as we can in the last 2 weeks.
So that's got to be such a challenge. So how much of this week is as game planning against your opponent, Lutheran North, versus just getting your own system in?
Yeah, they both go hand in hand, and so we're going by some film that we have last year, the best that we could, or the best that we can with what we have, and offensively, it's a little bit easier because by formation, I think, and stuff, like we theoretically have answers for everything that a defense could do. It doesn't always work that way, but in theory, we do. Offensively or defensively, it's a little more of a challenge because we got to make sure we're lined up correctly versus different formations, and so we've thrown at our guys as much as we can with what we think they will do, and that's been a challenge. So, we got to make sure we line up versus one tight end, got to make sure we line up versus two tight ends. Well, what if they have no tight ends? What if they have a fullback? What if they don't? I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So we've thrown a lot at them, and they've done a great job, getting it mentally, and hopefully we'll just play fast Friday.
Yeah. Now, speaking of all the challenges, another challenge that was thrown your way is moving up a division. What kind of challenges do you think that's going to present?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor, because the only way that happens is because we've had success, and we've built a program, and our numbers have been pretty good, and we've been successful on the field, and so that way it's flattering that the Catholic League and the other coaches think we can compete at the next level, and it's a challenge. We'll play a couple bigger high schools than us, and a couple schools that have good tradition recently. Macomb Lutheran North, Gabriel Richard out of Riverview is really good, and they've had a lot of success lately. So it's a big challenge. And so what we try to focus on is us, and not worry so much about our opponent, though, because sometimes I think you can overwhelm yourself if you only worry about what the other guys can do and what their ability is instead of focusing on you. So we really just try to focus on what we can do and how we can improve and get better from yesterday.
Now you have you graduated, I think you said 12 seniors from last year. And with just, I think, 5 on this team. How have the young kids stepped up and just embraced this extremely challenging offseason?
Yeah, so we graduated a lot of talented guys. We graduated a school record-holding quarterback and a school record-holding receiver. At a year after graduating a school record-holding running back, and so it's been a challenge, and it'll continue to be a challenge. And our young guys, for the most part, have done a really good job buying in and understanding their responsibility. And sometimes, as the saying goes, like ignorance is bliss. Maybe they don't understand what they're getting into Friday night, being young, and they just want to go play and play hard, and sometimes that's a good thing. And so we try not to, like I said, overwhelm them with information and whatnot. We just want them to go play and have fun. And so, I mean, it'll be interesting. We weren't able to have a scrimmage this year. Nobody in the state of Michigan could have a scrimmage, and so this Friday will be our first live action, in over a year. So we'll find out.
Yeah. And then, at quarterback, it's Dylan Goff, who's going to start. How has he looked so far?
Good. I mean, as of right now, Dylan will be. He's been fine. He's played quarterback most of his life at some level, and so we're very confident in his ability and what we could do. The challenge is going to be that Dylan will also play a lot of defense as a starting corner. He was an all-league corner last year for us, and so he's really valuable over there. And so the ability for him to do both, lead in offense and play at that high level on defense, is going to be a challenge for him. Yeah.
So how have the guys handled all these these different rules that are in place. You know, like I notice some guys have shields, but some guys have to wear masks because they don't have a shield. You can only have so many people in the locker room at one time. Like, how are these odd challenges being handled?
Yeah, I think the kids are doing a great job. They're pretty resilient. I think it's truthfully the adults and the coaches, we complain more about it than the kids do. I think, at least I haven't heard the kids complain much. If a kid doesn't have his mask on, I tell him he's got to put it on like one time and it gets done. He doesn't roll his eyes or get upset at me or, oh, why am I wearing this mask? They just do it. They understand that it is what it is and we can't control it, and we just make the best of it. But to say it's been a challenge is pretty accurate. It's not something I'm used to. I'm exhausted more so than I think I have been other years coaching. I mean, it's tiring as it is, but I'm exhausted just making sure, like you said, we have a certain amount of guys in the locker room at a time, making sure, reminding kids to keep their mask on, that sort of thing. And so sanitizing their gear and stuff here and there. So it's like, yeah, so it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah. And there's some things that are kind of even hard to understand. Like, you can sweat and bleed on each other, but, you better have that mask on. And they're going to be on a bus all together, but you can only have so many people in the locker room. Like,
there are people above my pay grade that make those decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you just
we'll just roll with it and stay positive and make the best of it. We're playing. Whether we have to wear a mask or not, we're playing football.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah. How do you keep up on this? Like, is it just where are you getting the rules and the standards and that information? Where does that come down from?
Yeah, we get a lot from the MHSAA and our High School Coaches Association of Michigan. They do a great job communicating like what's allowed and what's not, and so they're very upfront and forthright in telling us what we have to do in that regard. What
about testing and stuff like that? What happens if are you guys constantly testing, or how does that work?
So we basically ask families to self evaluate their kids, and the kids to self evaluate. If you don't feel well, stay home. If you have any lingering symptoms, stay home and get tested and let us know. And so we basically leave it in their hands and take the proper precautions. Wear a mask, wash your hands as much as possible, hand sanitize, stay away from people, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with this. What are your expectations for this season? What are the team's like goals and benchmarks that you would really want to hit, other than just actually playing football, which
that's a goal in itself. And we're going to meet that goal Friday, which is good. Every year is different. I would say I'd like to get to the point where if we have success, it's not a surprise. I still think the last couple of years when I've talked to other members of the media, it's like, oh, well, how do you do it, or what's going on? And in a way, I get offended because, I'd like to get to the point where, no, it's not a surprise anymore. That's just the way it is, whether we have 20 seniors or whether we have 5 seniors like this year. So I would just like to be we'd like to be competitive. Obviously, you want to win every game we play, but ultimately, more important than that, like we want them to control what they can control is their attitude and their effort. So they play 100% on every down. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Develop as a person, and develop as a player, and then ultimately develop as a team. And what the record says at the end, the record says at the end.
Well, there you have it. That's head coach Brian Barnes. And Bishop Foley will be taking on Lutheran North Friday night, 7 o'clock. You guys are at least you're at home for the first game, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yep. So if you get a chance, come on out. Stay socially distant, I guess, but you can sit in the stands and you can watch football.
It too. It'll be at BFC Athletics on Twitter.
Okay.
Be streamed.
Live stream, nice. All right. Well, football's back, ladies and gentlemen.